Hello and welcome to the last day of Fitmas. I am very sad. I think I should probably turn on my little their snowflake lights behind me. Oh boy. I also have colorful lights, but they're actually out of the frame. Oops, sorry, plant. Okay. We're slightly festive now. Do you like that? Like I said, there's colored lights up there, but it's out of frame, unfortunately. And I love my little neon skull in the back. It's a vibe. The Christmas tree is directly in front of me. You can't see it, but it's there. Okay. For Fitness Day 12, we're going to be talking about my health and fitness predictions for 2024, just based off what I've been seeing trending upward, what I've been reading, what I've been seeing with my clients on social media. Also, I referred to a Forbes article, and they put some suggestions on what they think is going to be the trends. And I thought some of these are interesting. And I tend to do this every year. I love seeing it and what plays out and what doesn't. So this should be a fun one, okay? Now, for the final day of Fitmas, the present for you guys is I'm going to give you guys early access for anybody that's interested to my 12-week transformation program. So I'm going to be launching this in January, okay? Because we know January, the holidays are over. We're ready to go towards our goals in full speed. And I'm telling you, anybody who has a vacation, whether it be spring break in March or in the summer, you need to start working on your goals in the winter, January. Give yourself some months. We're not going to wait until, 6 weeks before your vacation and being like, well, I need to lose 20 pounds because I need to look good in my bikini. No. We're going to work on it now, okay? So give yourself that time. But it's going to be a 12-week transformation program, okay? And you're going to get my full coaching with this, but at a really great price. So what's included with that is it's going to be customized workouts for you and your goals. You're going to get custom nutrition coaching as well. So we're going to track your food in some capacity. You're going to have access to my meal plan generator and recipe generator within the fitness app. I love both of the things, the food tracker and the generator. They're amazing. You could track all of your stuff in the app in one place, all that fun stuff. But also, you're going to get weekly pre-recorded video check-ins from me, okay? We're going to do weekly check-ins based off how your week went. If you have any specific issues you're running into or any wins. This is really the bread and butter of what I like to get into with teaching. Like maybe you kind of mess up on something, or you're going away and you're traveling, or it's a busy week and you need help. That's when I can really tackle those individual issues that you're having. Also, what I recently just added, because I have the time capacity to do it, you are going to be getting 2 30-minute phone calls with me a month, okay? So you get a total of 6 phone calls, and they're going to be great. Something about a video call is amazing. You get to chat and you really get to get your thoughts out, and it's amazing the progress that we get and what really comes out in these calls, and they're all about whatever you need to chat about. So it's completely custom to you, but it's going to be a 12-week transformation, like I said, at a great price. This is going to be the cheapest that my one-on-one coaching is for the year, to get jump started. So if you were looking for an online fitness coach and you didn't know where to start, check it out below. So I'm going to have the link to apply, okay? Because you're going to apply first, and I want to chat with you just to make sure it's a good fit, and make sure it works with you, your budget, your time, all that stuff, okay? All right, so thanks for that. And don't forget the 12 days of Fitmas. All the other stuff is going to be available as well. The master documents linked below with all the deals, freebies, one-off offers, and the coaching deal. So take advantage, because in a couple of days, that's going to be gone, okay? But let's dive into the meat and potatoes of the episode, the 2024 health and fitness trend predictions. It's kind of hard to believe that 2024 is like here already. But I think we are going in the right direction in the health and fitness industry. And I may be a little bit biased because I tend to surround myself with the more positive people in the fitness industry. I still know definitely from questions that clients ask me and stuff they send me on TikTok that there is some crappy information out there. And we're also in an era of information overload where we have access to maybe too much information. And something worth noting is that a lot of the information you see, and a big complaint I get from clients is like, I just don't know what information's right for me. That's exactly it. You may see a lot of information out there. Like, oh, try this, do this, this will work. And not all of it's meant for you. Okay, keep that in mind. Like maybe what you're seeing is meant for a 20-year-old that doesn't have kids or is going through menopause or is a guy or is an athlete. You know, it may not all fit you and your needs. Not saying that that information is wrong. It's just not for you. So if you see something and it doesn't seem right or you try it and it doesn't work, don't feel like you're a failure or it's wrong. Just say this wasn't meant for me. And that's another important reason to maybe, if you have the capacity to do it, to invest in a coach, because they're going to know based off what you tell them what's going to work for you, and you guys can work together to create the perfect plan that's going to work for you. And it filters out all that crazy information that you see. Saves you a lot of time, okay? So, all right. Getting into the trends and predictions. So first thing, I'm going to talk about what I think I'm going to see in 2024. Okay. First thing is a focus on seasons. I've been seeing this a lot. I've been loving describing my life and viewing my life this way. And I mean, you probably already heard this, but I think there's going to be more of an emphasis on it, is seasons of life, right? We could really say there's probably, there's 4 actual seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter. I would say there's 3 basic seasons of action, which would be sowing, reaping, and resting, right? So that's probably going to describe it the easiest. Sowing, reaping, and resting. So I want you to think about your life like that. What period of time are you in where you can sow? So you're stepping back, but you're learning things, you're implementing, you're kind of grinding, you're doing the work. Then you're going to reap. So all that work you put in, you're going to get to harvest it and reap it and enjoy it and enjoy the fruits of your labor. And then after that comes rest. You're going to rest. And I think something important to realize is you can't do one forever. You can't sow forever. Okay? You can't reap everything forever. You're going to run out. You can't rest forever because nothing is going to get done. So make sure that you're going through those seasons. Now, how long those seasons are, you don't know. Everybody's different. Could be a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple years. Everyone is different. But I think if you remind yourself that you're in a season, it helps. And I think also something important to note is you do have to put conscientious effort into these things. You can't just kind of float through life and expect I'm resting, I'll be in a sowing season soon. No, this still comes with effort and a plan of hey, I'm going to do this. In my fitness journey right now, I'm in the sowing season. I'm putting in the reps. I'm going to do this. And then you kind of hit the maintenance level. Maybe after you lose the weight and you hit your kind of goal body, now you're in the reaping level, the harvesting level. And then after that, you take a little bit of rest, you pull things back and you're just kind of coasting. And then eventually you'll maybe go back to sow. If maybe you put on a couple extra pounds and you want to lean out for vacation. From a fitness perspective, that's what that could look like. Okay, so I love that. I think that'll be a great trend if it pops up. Then we have a focus on sustainability, right? That's also something I preach it all the time. Screw the all or nothing mindset. We need to do away with the all or nothing mindset. It is killing us. It is putting us in this endless cycle of going all or nothing. And if we do anything that's less than perfect, we think that we are a failure and we need to give up. And I think we need to sit in the suck more. We need to embrace when days aren't 100%, when days are 20%, and knowing that 20% is better than 0%. Because it's very frustrating and exhausting to live in a state of all or nothing. So that's where I think the sustainability aspect is going to come in. Okay. Then this one is more with training style. I think people are going to be in the gym less, and we're going to see more hybrid training popping up, and people mixing and matching, and maybe not everybody focusing on I am just a bodybuilder, I am just into powerlifting, I do just yoga. I think we're going to see a combination of things start to pop up. I've seen a lot of people stray away from gyms. A lot more people are getting at-home gym setups. A lot more people are canceling their gym memberships. They aren't using their gym memberships. They might go to more private studios. I've had over half of my clients do that, or they go for classes on one side. Then they do some online coaching. Then they have their at-home gym. So like I'm seeing a lot of combo stuff going on versus just, hey, you just get all your movement from the gym. More hiking, more biking, more, like I said, yoga, Pilates. There's still strength training in there and people still use the gym, but I think it's going to be multifaceted. Okay. Then with that, a hybrid personal training, I think, is also becoming more popular as online training gets more well known. Because if 5-10 years ago you asked somebody what online training is, they'd be like, is that just like Zoom sessions? And sometimes it can be, but for me it's not. It's much more personal and you cover more than just showing up for an hour, doing a workout and leaving. Like it's just so much more multifaceted. But here's where hybrid comes in. If you're local, at least, I love the idea of hybrid because if there's any time constraints, you can't make it to the gym on a certain time, your schedule's so crazy, you can't meet up with me, online's going to work great. You also get that kind of sit down and chat element through the phone calls, through the check-ins, that you don't get with training. Like I said, usually you're there to just train. You come in, you go, hey, okay, let's get our workout in. You chat a little bit about your day and then you leave. So you're going to get a lot more out of it, a lot more mindset work, a lot more long-lasting changes. But I do think the in-person element is important because that hands-on approach of working out to make sure the form's right and that connection with people is good. So what I've been seeing is a lot of my clients transitioning to doing online monthly packages, and then they may come in a couple times a month, to train in person just to check in. Maybe I'm going to show them their new program. It's just more of a checkup session, a check-in session. Hey, am I doing this right? Can you teach me something new? So it really works out. It's really the most benefit. And oftentimes it's a little bit cheaper than doing just straight in-person training, because in-person training, if you're looking $60 an hour and you come in twice a week, that's $120 a week. That's what, $500 or $480 a month. And oftentimes, like, online coaching could be like $250 a month, plus maybe you come in once or twice a month. You're looking at way cheaper than the $480, depending on what package you get. So that's for the hour session. So you're getting a lot more bang for your buck, definitely, with a hybrid combo. Less in person, because one-on-one time is valuable. That's that person's physical time, so it is valuable, but not everybody needs that, or it's not forever. Like, I also often like having my clients kind of come in person a lot more upfront. Like, we're gonna get more sessions in upfront, really nail it down. Then once you kind of get used to it, you can taper off and we can add in an online element, because the more you learn, the more you get into a routine. You don't need all of that. And it's seasons, right? It's seasons. So then maybe again, you're going to come back and you're like, I have a new goal. So we're going to pull back the online and you're going to do in person a little bit more, right? So something to think about if you're somebody who's interested in training, think about the option of hybrid. Okay. Another one that I have seen pop up naturally is deeper training beyond basic lifts. Correcting injuries, improving mobility and flexibility. And I think this comes from, again, that information availability. I think not everybody, because I don't want to make a blanket statement like that, but a lot of people who are interested in the fitness space and are maybe technologically able to do that stuff, like use Instagram, YouTube, it's easy to see the basics. Anybody can look up how to do a squat. Anybody can look up how to make a basic lift just from seeing the Instagram reels, scrolling. You might read an article. You might buy a cheap one-off workout program. But where people falter, which I think we're always going to need, heck, you can ask AI now, is that individuality and that personalization. And that comes with, like I said, the correcting the injuries, the muscular imbalances, improving mobility and flexibility. We're working from home. We're sitting more now. We're going to need mobility and flexibility now more than ever, as a lot of people's jobs transition to at home. And like I said, we're kind of getting more inactive, like I said, with DoorDash, and there's just a lot more things. Amazon, everything can be delivered to your house. You don't need to go out to a store. You can literally just sit on your couch and get most essentials delivered. Like, you don't even have to leave your house, and it's amazing. You could survive. So people are moving less, and again, not everybody, but more people are. So that's, like I said, why mobility and flexibility is going to be important. With the lifting, even though people know maybe how to lift or how to do a workout. They may not be seeing the proper form, and this is where again the individuality aspect comes in. Like maybe their body composition, like me, I have longer legs and a short torso, so my squat pattern looks a little bit different than the average squat pattern, and I have to be mindful of that when I'm squatting, because if I try to look like how everybody should squat, I can end up hurting myself. And I think that is also an issue for a lot of people. I see a lot of injuries popping up from people trying to do normal workout routines, and it's like they're focusing on the basics, which is cool, but they're also not training the tiny little stabilizer muscles or the tiny things that are going to help improve their lifts and keep them safe. So I think that's also going to be a really big focus in 2024, and people are going to start to notice that. Okay, because I'm already doing it with my clients now. Then we have plant-based diets. I think that's going to be huge. The Forbes article mentioned this as well, like vegan. A lot more people are eating less meat. And it's funny because I also think it just comes down to like, how can you cook a meal to make it taste good? Like before, a lot of like vegan, vegetarian stuff looked kind of nasty. And it's why a lot of people don't like vegetables. It's like you could like vegetables if you knew how to roast veggies and make them delicious and season them and put the right stuff on them. You would love veggies. Okay. And I think that's kind of what is happening with plant-based diets. People are learning how to cook stuff and make meals that are actually like good. And I see this in the health space in general, which makes me very happy. And it's being marketed more. Like I find myself in restaurants when I'm eating something, I don't necessarily care if it has meat in it. A lot of the meals that I'm picking, like it might be a salad or one that I got at my favorite restaurant, the Gorge Eatery. If you're in the Jim Thorpe area, you got to check out the Gorge. It's amazing. They have sweet potato gnocchi with a sauce, and it has like mushrooms and asparagus and different vegetables, and it's completely like a vegetarian meal, and it's delicious. It's filling. I love it. It might not have a ton of protein in it, but I love it, and I don't feel like I need to add, like you can add protein on it if you wanted to, but I didn't feel the need to. So there's a lot of meals, like I said, that I'll eat that are inherently vegan or vegetarian, so that's kind of cool. With that being said, though, interestingly enough, I think also protein is going to be a trend. Believe it or not, out of all the Fitmas videos, the one that got the most traction was the one about the protein hacks. And it's kind of funny because I thought that train had kind of passed. Like it seems like every couple years we focus on like fat is the enemy and fat is great. Carbs are the enemy. Carbs are great. Protein will destroy your kidneys. Protein's great. It seems like I thought we were living in the high protein world for a couple years now, but it seems like it's really taking up popularity. And I don't know if it's ever going to go away, because really the more processed a food is, the less likely it is to have enough protein. And we have a lot of processed foods. We have a lot of quick fix foods. And, you know, protein is important now more than ever, especially if we transition to vegan, vegetarian stuff. It is harder. You have to be more mindful with how to get your protein content if you're not going to get it from meat. But we're also on the other end of the spectrum seeing carnivore diets and keto. So it's really interesting. It's an interesting dynamic right now. But I do think there is going to be an emphasis on protein, vegan protein, lean protein in general. We're just going to see it, how to get protein hacks, how to get it more in your diet. That's going to be the way to go. And then with that, I think another thing that's going to be popular is trying to cut out processed foods and the Mediterranean diet, because we see that's what works. It's been working for years. If you look at the blue zone in the Mediterranean diet, which is essentially just eating less processed foods, they just slap a name on it, you know, fish, lean meats, veggies, fruits, nuts, healthy fats. The Mediterranean diet is a great baseline. Of course, you could still enjoy your ice cream and your wine and all that stuff, but again, it's that 80-20 split. If you 80% of the time eat those foods and then the 20% you enjoy yourself, you will be ahead of the pack. You'll be ahead of 80 to 90% of Americans, okay? So we have that. Now, some of the things that the Forbes article mentioned, I'm going to list off some of them, and if I feel the need to elaborate, I will. We have creatine. Creatine has always been one of those like topics that people like want to know about. So it's funny because I actually have never taken creatine. I just didn't feel the need to. I think I talked about this in my last video. But I was saying I'm having really bad muscle soreness, really bad recovery, and it could be for a number of reasons, but I'm not pushing myself so much in the gym where my recovery should be bad, and I'm sleeping enough and I think I'm eating enough. I'm actually probably going to increase my food a little bit because I was in a deficit. But creatine is great for everybody. Is the most well-studied, well-researched supplement there is. It's very, very safe. And, there's a lot of stigma around it, but there's a lot of good things around it. Rumors and things like, oh, it has water retention. And well, in recent years, they've had a better filtering process for the supplement to not cause bloating. But it's really great for strength. It's really great for building muscle, which everybody needs to do. So creatine is going to be important, and I actually just ordered the recharge supplement from Legion, which has creatine in it and some other things to help with muscle recovery, muscle building, soreness. So I'm going to try it out and I'm going to let you guys know. But we have that ashwagandha, herby stuff. It's one of those things. It's supposed to help with stress. Ashwagandha, berberine, matcha. I will say I'm somebody who's very sensitive to that herby stuff. I've tried it and I always seem to get weird side effects, which is why I stay away, and which is why I'm so passionate about Legion Athletics. Code TINAW saves you money, so definitely if you're interested in them. They have such good blends of things, and they're high quality ingredients. They're scientifically dosed. They're scientifically backed. You can actually click on the research articles of like, hey, we put in 0.5 milligrams of this. This is why. Because in a study, 0.3 to 0.7 milligrams is the ideal dosage for males and females. Like, you can literally look and see the data. They're not just like throwing stuff in and hoping it works, which is why I don't think I've ever had any negative side effects from their products. That's always been a thing. It seemed like any supplement I would ever get, because they're super unregulated and they could put whatever they want in them, I just would get these weird side effects. I'd get a headache, or I'd feel gross, or my stomach would get upset, or I'd just feel weird, So that's why I tend to stay away from the ashwagandha and berberine. But it's funny because the multivitamin from Legion, I think, has some of those herbal things in them already, but they're clinically dosed, and I notice no issues. So standalone, I probably wouldn't add them in, but I get them indirectly from my supplements through Legion. Okay. Matcha. I've never tried matcha. I think it would probably taste gross, like kombucha. Like, it's just not my thing. I'm kind of picky with that. So that's probably why I'd never try it. But I do really enjoy green juices, particularly cold pressed juices, and I've been trying to find a good one because some of them do taste a little gross, but I do like green juices that are cold pressed. The sugars are all natural. They're a little bit higher, like you might get 30 grams of sugar depending on what's in it, but they taste really good. Like, they taste natural and earthy, but at the same time they have the sweetness of the fruit. They're very refreshing and they have some nutrients in them. So I do like cold juices. I'm not saying, or cold pressed juices. I'm not saying to drink them every day, but every once in a while for like a nice little snack, pick me up. They're pretty delicious. Okay. Mushrooms and mushroom powder. Let me tell you, I already love mushrooms, maybe from the cottagecore homesteading vibe. Like, we love it as a decor item, but we also love mushrooms. I actually have some mushroom ornaments on my tree I'm looking at, but I also love mushrooms. Like, I've just loved mushrooms my entire life. They're delicious. They're amazing. I actually was so excited because I picked up more mushrooms to put in my omelet this morning. Spinach and mushrooms with feta. Oh, so good. Put a little bit of olive oil. I actually used avocado oil today with a little bit of garlic salt. Just so good. I could eat raw mushrooms. I just love mushrooms. And there's actually a lot of great health benefits from mushrooms, but I've been on the mushroom train since I was a little kid. Like, I would get my Pizza Hut pizza with mushrooms, and that's when I fell in love with mushrooms. So, but mushroom powders, I can't say much on it. I've never tried mushroom powders. I'm sure there's probably some benefits. I just don't feel the need. So we'll probably see some more of that, though. I could definitely see mushies coming into the game, and I'm here for it. I might use the mushy aesthetic, the mushroom aesthetic, with the benefits of mushrooms. Let's do it. Marine collagen and sea moss. I could see this. I actually already see it, but I think it's going to be a minimal trendy thing. It's going to be one of those, like, very, very trendy thing you're going to see. Like, maybe Cali is going to have, the trend with it. Like, they're going to be all about it, but you're going to see it scattered throughout, but it's not going to get super big, I don't think. Just one of those things. It's not better than anything else. It's just a different way to do something, right? Kind of like bug protein, like another way to do something. NAD supplements, NAD supplements. I actually don't know what that means. I copy and pasted that list. Let's look up what NAD supplements mean. What are NAD? NAD is essential for regulating metabolism and circadian rhythm. As we age, levels of NAD, so that's why I'm calling it NAD, NAD plus decline. Reduced levels of NAD plus are associated with conditions like mental decline, diabetes, and heart disease. Niacin, niacinamide, NMN, and NR can all boost levels of NAD plus in the body. Interesting. Yeah, this is one of those like biohacking trendy things, I think. Again, Legion has a nootropic, like kind of like how nootropics were trendy for a little bit. I would kind of categorize it in the same way, but this is interesting. That's the circadian rhythm and metabolism. But nootropics do work if you have some brain fog and you want to kind of enhance your brain power. I think they're actually very beneficial. I have a ton of them and I use them, so they work. Then we have magnesium and vitamin D. These are going to be huge because, like I said, the more processed foods we have, the more we're trapped indoors. We're not getting enough sunlight. We aren't getting enough nutrients from our food. Even the soil that we grow our food in is getting depleted, which is, I also think, why we see more people kind of homesteading and growing their own stuff. It's a great opportunity to kind of use your little area to create your own homegrown stuff, cut out the pesticides, cut out the corporate-y part of things, and just get higher quality ingredients naturally and usually for cheaper nowadays. I was just talking about how making your own sourdough bread is probably cheaper than buying a loaf. So we even see this suburban homesteading, which I do want a house with land. It's just very expensive right now. So I'm kind of like in our apartment. I'm like, how can I do some suburban homesteading? Because I'm all for it. I'm going to try to implement things like that. And magnesium, huge. Vitamin D, huge. Get tested before you supplement though. Again, Legion has these and I think they're probably really good quality. I just do vitamin D gummies and they seem to be working for me. So supplements aimed at aging and brain health. Yeah, again, nootropics. I think aging is important. People are looking great and feeling better the older they get. Like even if, we always hear that stuff from the 80s, like everybody was smoking and they looked like awful at 40 and now people look wonderful at 40. I also think there is a superficial kind of thing going on in the corner of the internet. I follow skincare subreddits and a lot of people are like really being tough on their skin. Like if they have one wrinkle, they're like, oh my God, I look like a 60-year-old woman. And I'm like, no, just age gracefully. Stop being so hard. Like it's all airbrush stuff, like just that you see on social media. Just enjoy your skin texture, live with it, take care of your skin, don't overdo it, but like don't be a perfectionist about it, right? So we have that. Nervous system regulation. Yeah, as we should. Stress management, sleep, emotional health. So all of that I could loop together, and I think that this comes from a trend of, one, we have lack of mental health resources especially in the United States. We went through a worldwide pandemic and I think we're going to see a huge shift in general pretty much with our younger generations because the way we almost outgrew our old ways of living, right? The way we used to work, the 40-hour work week, the American dream, it worked for that time. And I think with the addition of technology and the ability to work from home and just the way our life changed, we have to adjust how we're living. So I think we're probably going to see a lot of big adjustments. And I think people are realizing that, we're not like robots anymore. It's not like you go to a factory for 8 to 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. You have to produce stuff and go home. A lot of the jobs, you don't even need to work as much as like what they have you working, right? Like a lot of us can work 4 hours a day and get plenty done and actually be more efficient, have time to enjoy our family and be well rested. And you'll see that if you work shorter days, even me working from home, and like I'm still out and about and I still put in 12-hour days, but it's like indirectly, it's through things that I want to do. It's not like I'm sitting at a desk. I might do some computer work, and then I'll take a walk in the middle of the day, and then I'll come home and do some more work while my husband's, playing video games or something. But I have enough time to cook meals and clean the house and do laundry and get my gas and wash my car. Before, when I was working a regular 9 to 5, I felt like I had no time to do anything. Like I was exhausted by the time I got home because all my mental energy went there for 8-9 hours a day, and it's like I was just done, and I felt like I couldn't live my life. I was living to work. I feel like a lot of people feel that way, and it may not be everybody, but I think that's why we're going that way. Focus on stress management, nervous system regulation for sure, sleep and emotional health. Personalized wearable technology, you see this with Apple. They're usually the leading with this. Like they're going to be able to track, I think, for sleep apnea now, irregular heart rhythms, which I think is really, really cool. So we're going to see more with that, which hopefully helps people be more mindful and get their health in check. Cannabis and psychobilin. Am I saying that right? Psychobilin? Of course, cannabis has always been trendy in the recent years, and psychobilin, like I'm assuming that is like psychedelics, kind of mushrooms. Correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty much with that realm, yes, I think microdosing and those things can work for certain people and people with mental health issues and struggles. Others, it may affect them negatively. Again, it comes down to the person. So I think hopefully the people who need it can get it. And it's, in my opinion, using those kind of things over maybe like a prescription medication that has all these nasty side effects and is manufactured, especially if it doesn't work for the person. It's great to have that kind of natural alternative that maybe doesn't have as many side effects. So that should be interesting to see play out as well. So pretty cool. So there's some cool things, and it just seems like the things that I'm seeing are going in a good direction. Like we need that more rest and recovery, and there's going to be more emphasis on emotional health and balance. And I hope that that stays the trend and we learn from it and we develop as a society. You're always going to have the extremes. They're always going to be there. You need them, right? But hopefully we all kind of shift towards this, okay? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Are there any 2024 trends that you've heard about or you see that you think might happen? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear. Or if you're listening on the podcast, you can shoot me a DM on Instagram or whatever. I love to chat with you guys. Nothing wrong with that. Don't be afraid. I'm not mean or weird. Maybe a little weird, but anyways, I think I'm going to wrap this up. So that is the 12 days of Fitmas, guys. Thank you so much for all those who tuned in. It's greatly appreciated, and I'll see you soon. Bye.